We are the masters of the art of the possible, and when the servants of Northern Ireland Electricity get off their bikes, stop cycling and turning the generators, we find a way of going forward. And that's the problem we had to overcome this morning, James. You didn't get to where you are today by not overcoming problems.
No. Then I haven't moved very far, Rowan.
Oh, you've moved. Well, you are moving the earth around Newry through your Maritime Association, and I'm fascinated with the sculpture that's down there waiting for. We should tell the people first. This is the weekly look at the Newry Maritime Association. They have their own slot here on the programme every week at this time, coming in and keeping us up to date with what is perhaps the most important element in all of our city, our nautical history, our maritime heritage, and the Newry Maritime Association is involved in that. That lovely sculpture, the trading places, what's it called?
Trading Place.
Trading Place. And
it's been commissioned from an artist called Chris Wilson. Chris is from Glengormley originally. Yeah. Lives in Ballycastle.
Oh, lovely.
And the actual art piece was cast in Dublin.
Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful that the skills still exist, the foundry skills of casting?
But they are very limited, Rowan.
Really?
Yeah, they're very limited.
And fewer people able to do it.
Yeah, well, as you say, you know, it's a niche. Niche industry, but the sculpture is there. Seamus Crossy supervised that for the council a fortnight ago, and it's in position. And really, as the name suggests, Trading Place, it's a reflection of all the.
Don't worry, just turn it off.
It's a reflection of
probably the Prime Minister.
It's a reflection of all the
throw that to the one side. It'll bubble the phone.
The businesses that traded along the canal, you know. And
if you look at it, you can actually see the representations of all kinds of business carved into the bronze.
That's right. That's right.
If you stood there for 10 minutes, if you stood there for half an hour, you would have an educational tour of the history of Newry's industrial growth, really.
Well, that leads me on nicely to the real good news story that we had in Newry this week.
Wow.
On the jobs front. The 484 jobs announced by Brian Conlon and First Derivatives.
A son of the sod here in this town.
Well, I think, I don't know Brian Conlon personally, but the man is to be applauded for what he has done to grow this company from literally core base himself.
Oh, absolutely.
And an indigenous Newry firm competing on a global scale. And I read in Cormac Campbell's article, where he said that when he's abroad, he refers to the Silicon Canal. He's based on Canal Quay.
He is indeed.
And it got me to thinking, Rowan, just as you spoke in your words of introduction about our nautical history and the contribution that the port made to the development of Newry. When you look back, that over 150 years ago, that particular stretch of the canal was receiving ships from as far away as the River Plate area, and cargoes of maize were coming to Sinclair's Mill.
My goodness.
And then Robert Sands. And now today, Brian Conlon and First Derivatives have established a hub of global excellence emanating from Newry. But the thing is, that business, as you're well aware, with today's technology, could be established anywhere.
Absolutely.
They could relocate to San Francisco, Paris.
But Newry has made it happen. Conlon has been proactive.
Yes,
he got the idea.
Yeah, but what does it tell you about him?
Tells you that he's a visionary.
And it tells you that he has civic pride and a sense of identity.
He does have that, very much so.
He wants to be in Newry.
Yeah, I think his mother's a Carol, is she? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I wouldn't be certain of that, but
we'll have to find out.
absolutely. No, and he's a
Carol,
navvy.
as in Paddy Carroll.
I think so. I think there's that connection somewhere.
Well, there you are.
I don't know, but there it is.
It would link back into the maritime history again.
Would again. What Brian did at the beginning, I'm led to believe, and I don't know the lad other than to have a great pride in him. What he did at the beginning was I think he got a loan from Newry Credit Union to get him started. Now that's an amazing thing. To go from, what a vision he had, to go from that small beginning where he needed a credit union loan to go to a world beater and a world leader.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
And I think,
sorry, go ahead.
I think I read were there 1,500 people employed.
Oh,
now.
aye, absolutely. Yeah.
I know a friend of mine has a young lad that came out of university as a lawyer, incidentally, 2 years ago, and he couldn't get an apprenticeship. He qualified from John Moores University in Liverpool. Couldn't get an apprenticeship, and eventually he got a job with First Derivatives. He was based in London, he's now in New York. You know,
it's amazing. It's great.
So I think it's absolutely fantastic.
The warehouse development. I had long ago had the dream of warehouse development along the canal, that we would see all of that happening. Are there other potential sites for, let's just call it warehouse in the widest sense? Because a lot of the old warehouses have gone. But are there properties there that some entrepreneurial fellow of vision could make use of and turn into business, search for micro business? Maybe it's something as in media production. Maybe it's something like website design. Maybe it's something like software programming. Who knows? Are there available places, do you think, that could be developed?
Well, the obvious one would be the Lake of Toes' Yard.
It's the one I was thinking of.
Toes' Yard for the building and the extensive property at the rear.
Yeah.
That could be used for a plethora of uses. Yeah.
Units. That one's doing the websites. That one there's doing the media production. And the whole thing, we could put cobbles again into the yard.
Well, I've often thought, Rowan, if you look at the area, the Brownside area that is bounded by Catherine Street, Edward Street, Monaghan Street and Merchants Quay, that whole square that's inside, you know, and, just crying out
for something.
For something to be done.
I suppose we have kind of skipped through once upon a time we were up here, then the recession comes, we're down here. We're coming back up again. Maybe we'll reach a time when, wow, we're able to do something like that. But at least the people are looking at the possibilities now.
Well, you see, it's all about, I believe, Rowan, raising public awareness. Now, that's a slow process. For someone like me, there is no quick fix solutions.
No.
But what you try to do is sow the seed, stimulate people, get them aware, get them asking questions. Take, for instance, the Albert Basin situation.
Yes, yeah.
Now, 10 years ago, people wouldn't have passed any remarks at all to what was happening about the Albert Basin. You know, if the council decided to sell it, fill it in, whatever, there wouldn't have been too many eyebrows raised.
Indeed.
But now we have got to a stage where people realise the potential of the Albert Basin and what it could be to the people of Newry. And I see there's a bit of controversy at the moment about the committee which was set up, and there's confusion now as to the status of that committee. According to the local press, the committee has been scrapped. The council say it hasn't been, no decision has been taken. It's an area that needs clarity. We need to know what's happening. But in actual fact, people are now, I am quite confident that people will be telling their councillors, well, you know, what are you proposing to do? Well, actually, we don't want you to do
Oh,
that.
aye.
We don't want you to do that. And, you know, the important thing to remember is that the council are custodians of public property.
That's right. That's right. That's right. They are.
The property belongs to you, to me, to Andrew, to every ratepayer in Uri and Mourne.
But you have discovered, and I think it's very important to record this, you have discovered the willingness and enthusiasm of the council to become involved with iconic projects.
Very, very much so. It would be impossible for the voluntary sector to carry on without participation with the council. And Uri and Mourne Council is unique amongst the 26 in the north of Ireland because they have a voluntary contribution scheme.
Yes.
And the pot of money in that for distribution every year is almost 1.5 million. And no other council operates like that.
You see, that would be an indicator of the legacy. That's the legacy of Newry's traditional pride.
That's right.
I think so.
You
I
know,
think that's exactly
and
it.
there's a lot of groups rowing, and every year the scheme begins in November, and normally it's adjudicated by April, and the awards to the various applicants are made. And a lot of the voluntary groups look to that annually to progress the various schemes in which they're involved, you know.
Absolutely. Isn't it wonderful to see the Newry's, there's not even the hint of birth pangs, but to see the emergence of Newry's brand as a nautical city.
Well, that's part of the ethos of the Maritime Association, to create a maritime brand, to have Newry identified, that people automatically will be looking and saying, "Oh yes, we'll go to Newry to see the exhibits, to see the museum, whatever, you know," and to realise. I mean, the vast majority of people in Newry, never mind outside, don't realise that we have a link, a maritime link,
Absolutely.
and that we had port status till 40 years ago.
We were
You know?
the primary port in Northern Ireland.
That's right.
You know,
And
after
now-
the coming of the railways.
And now, I believe you had Peter Conway in the other
Peter was
day.
here. Peter was here too. We're now going to host the GB Ports Conference in
The
October.
The ABP Ports Conference for just the second time is coming to the north of Ireland, and it's coming on the back of a record year for Warrenpoint
Oh,
Port.
absolutely.
They've doubled the profits. The throughput has risen to over 3 million. You know, and Warrenpoint has taken up the baton. And in fact, I think Peter, in the marketing, in the marketing for the port, they describe Warrenpoint as the port for the city of Newry.
Yeah, that's it. And then, of course, we have Newry Airport, which is just north of Dublin.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we claim it?
Yeah.
If we're in Glasgow Airport's the same distance outside the centre.
That's
you know.
right. Yeah.
But Peter, you've struck up a good educational rapport and partnership with Conway and the port, because you take children there.
Well,
in schools.
Warrenpoint Harbour Authority are corporate members of the Maritime Group. We have now got 30 corporate members.
Wow.
And the latest local firm to join is M&M Steel Fabrications, Malachy Maguire. Malachy was located at the Albert Basin for over 30 years, and he's now relocated to Carnbane Industrial Estate to a purpose-built unit there.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have a lot of the majors around Newry. We have Canal Court Hotel, Warrenpoint Harbour, Newry and Mourne Council, and another firm on in the global market, MJM, headed up by Brian McConville.
Doing such work in the maritime industry throughout the world.
And Brian is working, as you say, on a global scale, from Miami to Adelaide.
Amazing. When you think about it, it's
And
quite
it's
amazing.
all headquartered in Carnbane. 120 people employed there.
Newry jobs.
Newry jobs, money in the economy, and then everything flat packed into containers
and away off and done.
Off.
Brian Collins' project, 22 million they reckon into the economy annually.
I read that, and I mean the spin-off for the local businesses, for the hotel, for
Huge.
Graham Finnegan, Pat
It's
Courtney, Jack Murphy,
all good, all
local people. The bulk of that money will be spent in the local economy.
Absolutely.
You know.
More money in the local economy coming at the end of the month with the boat coming in, the great cruise liner coming into Warren Point. That must gladden the hearts, the cockles of the maritime man's heart.
Absolutely fantastic. Again, to see Warren Point, Rowan, getting on the cruising itinerary list. A great boost for the port, but even more so for our hinterland, for South Down, for South Armagh. 450 people are on that ship.
Yeah.
And the spending power, even for the day, you know, they're there from 8 to 5, and that's they've a full day for the local economy. You know, even for a bus trip, whatever, you know.
And you see the word, it's a tight enough little community, the cruising community. The word will go out that this is a beautiful place.
That's right.
To the left of you, there's mountains. To the right of you, there's mountains, and the beckoning valley beyond.
Yeah,
and it's we will get more.
Well, everyone commented very favourably. I spoke to the captain and crew of Golden Leo, the Dutch ship.
Oh yes,
the tall ship which Warren Point Harbour Authority has brought in for the last 2 years for their corporate trip each year. And I spoke to the captain and crew, and they said last year, that was their first trip, that approaching Carlingford Lough, they thought from the Irish Sea it was unrivalled, you know, in comparison to and they have done the full spectrum, and they said that they felt that the approach in from the Heli Hunter was just unparalleled.
Unbelievable stuff. The walkway along the public realm walkway. Have you any intelligence on it when it's opening? It's apparently gone back a month.
Well, it has gone back. Largely, not so much that it's gone back, Rowan. A decision was made at the top level with DSD to postpone the opening of the walkway, the official opening, till everything has been completed.
Yeah.
Now, the work was done in 3 sections.
Well, hold on. I know the first section from
Sugar
Island to Bellini's.
Yes.
Then Bellini's
to Midlogan's Corner. And then from Midlogan's to Dublin Bridge.
Yeah, 3 sections, yeah.
Now, the original plan was that on the 8th of July, the Minister, Nelson McCausland, would come down and unveil the sculpture and declare the walkway open. Unforeseen difficulties arose with the piling situation.
Oh, yeah. They had to go down
5 metres, there's 5 metres of piling the whole way along the canal bank from Sugar Island to Dublin Bridge. However, when the contractors arrived at
outside Midlogan's
Corn Market,
yeah,
to Midlogan's, they found that the ground was even more unstable, and they had to drop to 25 metres. It took 9 weeks to pile that section.
Yeah.
But they have recovered well, and a lot of the work that'll be done in the next month now is the aesthetics of the job, the new traffic lights, the signalling, all that sort of thing, and people will say, why do they not do that at night? The bottom line is, there's no money in the budget to do it at night. Siemens are the contractors. They offered to do the job at night, but the money wasn't there to pay.
It's the work, it's the art of the possible, isn't it? Always.
So what's going to happen now, Rowan, is before the holiday period for the 12th fortnight, the 2 sections down from Sugar Island to Midlothians will be cleared and opened.
Wow. So we'll have that for the 12th.
Yes.
Wow. I'll actually walk. Would I need permission from the Parades Commission to walk that walk for the first time?
You might need permission from Bertie Flynn.
Indeed. Bertie should be pleased.
A celebrated citizen.
He's a wonderful citizen.
Yes.
A doyen within the scouting movement. Bertie and I were in the Scouts together as youngsters.
And a man who was and is a key player in the Canal Street Regeneration Committee.
Absolutely.
And made a great contribution to the Navi sculpture.
Yeah, he did, surely. No, Bertie Flynn is a man whose heart is beating strongly for his environment and his community.
His local community.
Without a doubt. He's a great fellow altogether.
So the public realm, it's interesting that you mentioned that walkway, Rowan, because that is going to be a major plank in an application which Newry and Mourne District Council have made for the Pride of Place Awards, which is a national competition, an all-Ireland competition. Newry and Mourne have made an application, and there is a judging panel coming to Newry on the 12th of August.
There you are.
The walkway, the Newry Maritime Association is lead partners with the council in the application, and the main basis of the submission is the walkway and the associated works that have been done in the last couple of years.
Listen, it's going to be good, and I think we'll win that. I would be surprised if we didn't.
Well, we will be making a very robust application.
Of course you will.
And when you look, Rowan, that right from the northern extremity of the town section of the canal, we have the refurbished Linen Hall Gate.
Yes.
We have the Navi.
The Navi.
We come on down then, and we've got Carville's Blue Circle plaque. We've got Fisher Park refurbished. We'll have Trading Place. And we've got the Docker sculpture. And then on down to the Victoria Lock, and we've got the memorials for our seamen who were lost. So the whole thing is taking shape, and as you said earlier on, the emergence of a maritime brand is beginning to emanate.
Thank you.
And thank you, Rowan.
James McAreavey, Newry Maritime Association, and it's all going well. We'll keep you informed that all through the years to come. Isn't that been very optimistic of me? The years to come, as long as I'm here, bringing you news of the development of the Newry Maritime brand. Andrew, some music, please. Thank you.